This is Joy, Sputnik Africa's virtual presenter. A much-anticipated conversation took place between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. The two leaders spoke on the phone for around 2 hours on Tuesday, March 18th. This detailed and frank conversation, as the Kremlin described it, focused on Ukraine. How important would this phone call be in the context of the conflict? Sputnik Africa analyzes the situation. Putin and Trump agreed on a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine limited to energy infrastructure. On other issues, the Russian president demanded an end to Ukraine's rearmament and a halt to Western aid to Kiev. The conditions for a full ceasefire are not yet in place, Swiss journalist and former politician Guy Metten tells Sputnik Africa.
If we put ourselves on the Russian side, if we put ourselves in the shoes of the Russian president, we see that so far, the duplicity or the suspicion of duplicity of the West has always been justified. Because the West did not respect the Minsk agreements, or did not ensure that Ukraine respected the Minsk agreements. Given this duplicity, Russia is also right to suspect that the West might be playing a double game. Therefore, in my opinion, a total ceasefire was not possible under the circumstances.
Russia's cautious approach to the ceasefire is no accident, notes Nigerian analyst Nicholas Idris Irema, recalling past violations by the Ukrainian side.
Based on what you're saying, based on experience, there's a likelihood that Ukraine can also pull out, right? So Russia is not going to lose its guard.
The analyst points to the role of foreign military aid in fueling the conflict.
As long as military aid, military assistance, humanitarian aid, military technical support, or all forms of military support in one way or the other continue to come to Ukraine, that itself continues to pose a threat to Russia's sovereignty, Russia's identity, Russia's national interest. That itself means that the war is not ready to come to an end.
It is clear that if we agree to a global ceasefire, the arms shipments must stop. Because otherwise the suspicion would naturally arise that this ceasefire would be used to rearm, and therefore to attack again later. It is essential that these shipments stop.
As for the resumption of contact between Moscow and Washington, experts view it positively. We are in this current phase of détente in Russian-American relations, Metten notes.
Both presidents were truthful to themselves about the needlessness of this war in the first place, and how they think that peace can eventually come between Russia and Ukraine.
If the talks lead to an agreement, the end of the conflict will benefit the entire world, believes Tefadzwa Ruzev, an expert in international economics.
If the war stops, there's a huge benefit in lower oil prices, lower global grain prices, and the economies of Africa will definitely move forward through the improved security that will have been secured through security and stability being achieved in Russia and Ukraine going forward.
While we wait for new developments, stay tuned and see you next time.